Bengals trying to screw over first-round pick Shemar Stewart and rookie's contract. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Pat McAfee Show. So some insane news kind of coming out of Cincinnati. Well, I say insane, but for Cincinnati, it's just business as usual. So we all know about everything that's been going on with the T. Higgins contract restructure to now the Trey Hendrickson issue. But Shemar Stewart, their first-round draft pick, is also in a contract dispute with Cincinnati. And it's just... this is like the blueprint of how to ruin an era, a winning window with Joe Burrow. And it's just unbelievable. So we're going to go ahead and listen to what Pat McAfee and the group has to say about it. And we're going to react along the way.
If you read the same report that we did about Florio and what Florio is reporting about the number 17 overall pick, not agreeing to a deal yet with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, so basically what's going on is the deal, there is a set salary to the pick slot. Okay, so that's not really the argument as far as like the dollars and cents. The argument is the verbiage where Cincinnati, for the first time ever, is trying to put in a clause where if Shemar Stewart has any fault at all, it can be, it can be anything from on the field stuff to off the field stuff to whatever. I mean, just anything, endless. Then it voids all of the remaining guarantees. All right. Now, again, this has never been done before. So Cincinnati is setting a precedent for this. So they didn't do it last year, didn't do it the previous year. Shemar Stewart would be the first round pick for the Bengals to have this clause in there. Florio reported in this one here, the Bengals have decided to wedge a new clause. Okay, the clause would turn a default in any given year into a void of all remaining guarantees. In prior Bengals contracts, a void wiped out only the guarantees for the year in which the default occurred. Stewart refuses to be the guinea pig for the new term, and the Bengals refuse to blink. As a result, Stewart will be less prepared for training camp than he would have been. Signing the contract isn't really the big issue. A lot of rookies haven't signed their contract yet. The fact is, or the problem is, he hasn't been on the field. He's not practicing. He's not doing anything. He's just in a standstill. He's just hanging out. And for someone like Shemar Stewart, who's got 1.5 sacks in back-to-back years, who was already kind of a raw prospect, this is a problem. It's also compounded with the rest of what's going on with Cincinnati, where if you're Stewart and you're already going through this, and then you look at what they're doing to Trey Hendrickson, how does that make you feel? And if you're Trey Hendrickson and you're like, I'm trying to kind of negotiate with Cincinnati, whatever, and you see what they're doing on the side, how they're treating Shemar Stewart, it's not good either. It's just a horrible look for the franchise.
The way Florio is reporting it, as previously explained, I've reported this before. Okay? As previously explained, this ain't the first time I'm letting
Nobody's listening to me, obviously.
Bingo. He's like, everybody keeps saying the wrong shit, which we were one of them. Mm-hmm. So we appreciate him saying that he has reported this before and we missed it. We apologize for missing it. Yeah, the Bengals are exercising a new clause. Mm-hmm. We dug through the CBA, figured out that we could actually void all the years remaining instead of just the year that the whatever takes place happens. So we're going to try this out with the number 17 overall pick. And his agent said, I'm young, but I'm not that dumb. Can't be doing that to me. So now there's no end in sight because I assume the Cincinnati Bengals would like to set precedent with this deal. This is what we would like the future deals to look like. And Shemar Stewart and his agent are like, no. How is that? Why is that our life?
I think it was Stewart's dad or someone, maybe an agent, but they came out and said basically like, aren't we trying to win the Super Bowl? Like, why don't you wait until you have pick 32 and do it with pick 32 and set the precedent then? And which is like, yeah, kind of true. Kind of like, why would you do this? Like, this is not the time. It's not the time to try and do this when you are trying to win. Like, everything with this team says win now. With Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all of this. So it's like, pay Hendrickson, do what you got to do, get everyone on the field and try and win the next couple of years. This isn't the time to start trying to set a new precedent.
And then I assume his agent is saying, why don't you guys figure out Trey Hendrickson, too, if you're going to be trying to sneak new clauses into our world. Joining us now, insider, analyst, Emmy Award winner, friend of the program, New York Knicks super fan. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Schrager.
Supposed to be John Stewart.
Schrags, okay, so we saw Florio say, as previously explained, which was him saying, you should have seen this or known this a long time ago. The Bengals are trying to put in a new clause into Shemar Stewart's contract. This has not happened with previous Bengals draft contracts, is how Florio's reporting it. Have you heard anything out of this? And what are your thoughts on this? I thought the CBA regulated exactly how much everybody's getting when. I guess that's not the case, Schrags.
Like I said, the money, the actual dollar and cents is tied to the pick. It's this clause. That is the big hang up here, is the verbiage in the contract. I know for sure Shemar Stewart's dad said this, but he said they want exactly what it is being offered. Like they just want to play. They just want what is fair, what everyone else has got. They just don't want this new wrinkle of this verbiage.
Well, it used to be the assumption the last several years that where you're drafted is kind of what you're paid. So the idea of a rookie holdout would be completely illogical. You're going to get paid what you're owed just based on the structure of it.
Yeah.
Now, I think Shemar Stewart's agent's an interesting guy. Zach Hiller's his name. He's also James Cook's agent, and he was Dalvin Cook's agent. And he's a young cat. He's about 30 years old, and he kind of beats to his own drum. And he's saying what he's saying. And the Bengals are saying what they're saying. And if you're going to take it for its word, you would look at the Bengals' handling of the Trey Hendrickson situation and say, well, that seems pretty unorthodox as well, and a little unkosher with how that's being done. But they weren't just going to take the deal that was given to Shemar Stewart. He hasn't stepped foot on a practice field, and that was including rookie minicamp, and that's including this minicamp. And guess what? Training camp's right around the corner, and you almost think you draft the 17th overall pick as a defensive end and a physical freak to be the guy who could ultimately replace Trey Hendrickson. And there seems to be contract issues.
Well, the Bengals also are the lowest spent team on defense, which shouldn't be crazy. They just fired the defensive coordinator. The defense was terrible. All their money is on the offensive side of the ball. They just paid Jamar Chase, just paid T. Higgins, won't pay Trey Hendrickson. So the fact that they're also basically whiffing on their first-round pick defensive end, it's like, this is not great. This is not ideal for an already not ideal situation on the defensive side of the ball.
With both of them. Not the case in 31 other training camps, but it seems to be the case in Cincinnati.
Okay, so we see where Schrag sits in this entire thing for that last statement.
So again, I want to re-emphasize this. The contract part is not crazy as far as like not signing the contract. Usually you can go through and do like an injury waiver or something and get that worked out to where you can practice and then work out the contract. But because both sides have stalled, that's not happening. So Stewart's agent has basically told Stewart, like, do not step on that field until this is figured out. And the Bengals are like, we're not moving off this. So he's frozen. Shemar Stewart is frozen in what he can actually do, which is just kind of read his playbook and go to meetings. But he cannot and will not play until one side budges. And from where I'm sitting, the Bengals, I think, are the team in the wrong. But if they're not going to budge, why the hell would Stewart budge? This is a huge risk for him. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, to put 4 years of guarantees up with a brand new guinea pig clause? Like, no way. No way am I doing that.
A lot of Bengals fans are saying, why you guys got to bury us? It's like, because this shit does happen with you guys.
All the time.
Yeah,
And it seemingly doesn't happen anywhere else. Now, would Duke be able to take care of it? I assume when push comes to shove, this will all get sorted. This will all get figured out. Like, I think the Trey Hendrickson deal will get figured out. Like, I think so. That will happen. I think there will be some sort of agreement. Or maybe he gets traded. I think there will be a decision that gets figured out. Shemar Stewart has to be on the field for training camp. Shemar Stewart fired back today. I'm 100% right. Should be.
Yeah, so Stewart, so after all that, Stewart did some press, either today or yesterday, last couple of days here, and he pretty much triples down, which, fine. And he says, no, I'm in the right. And he goes on and says, I'm 100% in the right. I know what's going on here. This is not me trying to strong arm the Bengals. I'm just trying to get what I'm owed, pretty much. And I do not think it's fair that I'm the first player ever for the Bengals, like players that were drafted later than me. So he was the 17th overall pick. So he's saying people that were drafted past pick 17 didn't have to do this. Why do I have to do this?
Be a no-brainer. In Trey's case, it should be a no-brainer too. I'm not asking for nothing y'all have never done before, but y'all Bengals just want to win arguments more than winning games, in my opinion.
Wait.
What?
Whoa, that's a good start.
That is a good start.
Love it.
That's from Ari Mirov at My Sports Update. He is an actual aggregator of actual NFL news, so I don't think he got hacked here. Do we know anything more about him saying this anywhere?
That's a lot.
Does he mean the Bengals organization or like the Bengals fan base?
I think the Bengals.
The organization.
Front office. Something that he also said in his press interview, well, that he was asked, like, does this kind of sour you on the Bengals? And he said, no, we have plenty of time to make up for this, whatever. But I'm sure in reality, of course it does. And this guy was drafted. He's probably excited to play. He's excited to start with the Bengals and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, the Bengals are telling him, like, they're kind of trying to screw him. They're trying to screw him over, basically, take his guarantees. And he's probably thinking, like, this sucks. Like, I just want to go somewhere else. Let me go somewhere else and play.
Paul Daner Jr. Is reporting the Shemar Stewart conversation at his locker is obviously not great. Clear the frustration is bubbling up from a small annoyance to something more long-lasting. Most notable, something very simple to fix. It's kind of disappointing, so Shemar. Interested to see the disenchantment with the organization's handling of this coming through so clearly now. I can't say what I really want to say. It's their contract. They can do what they want with it. Some very frank and direct comments from Shemar Stewart and why he continues to feel he's 100% right to sit out. Clearly very upset and frustrated with Bengals that he's not signed in on the field. Let's go to that. Let's go to the beginning of that clip, and let's see what he had to say here. This is 3 minutes and 35 seconds long.
Take a look.
You can pause that, go full screen on it. Here we go.
I actually have no idea. I really don't know.
What have you been doing to stay locked in? And there's only so much that can replicate on the field reps, but what have you been doing to make sure that you're actually locked in when you're out there, knowing that you can't do anything?
Great question.
I still go to meetings. I still study my playbook, take down the right notes, and then whenever I get some free time, I'll go out to train at Black Sheep.
Is it fair to say at this point that you will not step foot on the practice field in practice until you're signed?
Yes.
So you've got two guys now, Stewart and Hendrickson, who have flat out said, I'm not playing if this doesn't get resolved. Stewart saying, I'm not going on the practice field until this gets resolved. And Hendrickson said, I will sit out this season if this contract doesn't get fixed. Like, this is how, I said it 10 minutes ago, this is how you mess up the Joe Burrow thing. And if you're Joe Burrow, you got to be sitting around looking around going, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? Pay these guys, get them on the field. We got to be ready to roll here. Like, we're trying to win a Super Bowl. This is crazy. We're trying to win a Super Bowl, and y'all are trying to read through Chapter 3 of Art of the Deal.
Good question.
Very bad. I mean, I've been doing this for most of my whole life, and then all of a sudden it's gone over something very simple to fix. It's kind of disappointing.
Have they given you any answers as to why they're choosing this year and you to set a new precedent?
If I really wanted to say, I can't say what I really want to say, but it's their contract. They can do what they want with it.
Oh, that means something.
I mean, this is brutal. Like, this is a guy who hadn't played it down. He was just drafted, and he's just straight up skewering the organization.
What do you really want to say?
Think, from a player standpoint, to be on the field for training camp?
It's very important. I mean, like, you gotta get your body somewhat prepared to play football. Especially me coming from college to the NFL is a way physical game. Even though I play in SEC, which is very physical, but nothing compares to actually playing in the NFL. So I thought I'd be on the field by now. That's what I thought.
What about representation, family, friends? Obviously, you've got to lean on a lot of people to kind of get through a difficult time like this. What have they been telling you to help you?
Just take it day by day, pray to God. He's always gonna stand with me, no matter what. And just know you're doing the right thing. Like some people say, we all agree trade will be right? But technically, still 1% wrong for being under contract. So, and this
Wild. Again, this is a rookie. He's saying that Trey Hendrickson, he believes is in the right, whatever, but there still is 1% that is in the wrong because he is under contract. Whereas He's like that. That's a crazy. I don't think it's I don't think Trey Hendrickson's going to come looking for him, but wild for a rookie to be going through this.
In my case, I'm 100% right, so it should be a no-brainer. And in Trey's case, I think it should be a no-brainer too. I mean, he led 17.5 sacks for 2 years back-to-back. If I was the GM or I was the owner, take all my money. But I guess they don't operate like that. But
again, this is not me. This isn't me saying this. This is the 17th overall pick saying this about the team that drafted him. Like, well, yeah, I guess they don't operate like that. If I was the GM, if I was the owner, I'd do this. But I guess this organization isn't about that life. You are sitting in the locker room. It's crazy how fast this is soured. And yeah, I'm sure if they get the deal done and everything works out, like this will all be water under the bridge. But as of right now, what horrible look for the Bengals. Horrible look. If this was the Saints situation, and Kelvin Banks is going through this while whoever else is going through this, and it's just like, man, come on, guys, like we gotta be better than this.
Have you talked to Trey at all?
I talked to him the last time he was here, but other than that, no.
Has this experience soured your taste for the Bengals?
I'm not gonna say that. I mean, I'm still new here. We still have a long future ahead of us.
Maybe. Communication with Zach Taylor been like through this?
Seems very reasonable.
Yeah, I like this kid a lot.
We'll talk here and there.
Yeah, me too.
Do you feel behind?
Mentally, no. Physically, kind of, sort of. Not really, though. I still work out. I feel like I'm still in good shape.
How do you make sure that you're ready to go whenever that time does come?
Oh, I'm always ready to go. I've been staying ready to go. I mean, it's my job now. I got no choice but to be ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Are you optimistic is the wrong word, but is it realistic that you could practice tomorrow if something gets done? I mean, is it that quick? Do you think it's going to be like a light switch?
Let's see. We got, 20 hours? Let's see what happens.
Thanks, Shemar.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I think he handled that very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did too. I mean, I think he's obviously frustrated. He's obviously disenchanted. You can tell with body language, but I think overall, I think he's saying if nothing else, is very brave and open of what he's saying, and the fact that he's even taking questions and talking about it at all. I mean, that can't be easy. The guy's been in the building for a couple weeks, so.
The Trags on X, by the way, for posting that. Mike Petraglia is the one that posted there, even though there was a lot of media surrounding him at that moment. I'll tell you what, calm, composed.
Yeah,
I'm working out. I'm down at Black Sheep. I guess that is probably a gym near there. Because if it's voiding the entire contract, if something happens, he doesn't want anything to happen. Obviously, there's some sort of.
No. Yeah. Which is why there isn't any budging. There hasn't been an injury waiver. There hasn't been any of those talks because he'd be on the field, like some of the other guys who have not signed yet. This is a straight up full breakdown in communication between the two parties.
Him saying their contract, I wonder how many times the Bengals have said, you're coming to our team. Mm-hmm. This is our offer to you. And this is how it's going to go. And then they ask, have you ever done this before? No. This is the first time we're doing this. Well, I don't think so. And then him talking on Trey's situation.
Yeah, it's nuts.
The guy got 17.5 sacks. I guess if I was the GM and the owner, I'd say have my money, but I guess that's not how they do it around here. Has this soured your taste? No, I guess we're going to have a long relationship. I mean, everything about him, I'm like, I like the way this guy. I like the way this guy operated. I mean, that was a real babyface move right there.
Yeah, because that's a really, really, really tough spot to be in. Like he said, you are taking a huge jump, and you got to just stand there and look like the asshole on practice. It's not doing what everybody else is doing. And we always say control the controllables when you come in as a young player and you have a team around you that you want to trust. Seems like he's controlling the controllable, and he answered some tough questions there to be in that spot. So I'm frustrated.
Well, I mean, too, like the Bengals probably thought, yeah, he'll just sign it. Like he's not going to balk at this verbiage, but it's smart that his agent or whoever advised him and said, yeah, we are absolutely not doing this. And you can say, well, if nothing's going to happen, then why wouldn't you just sign it? So you just don't know. Like you never know the situation. You never want to give up that much leverage for that much time. I mean, you're talking about his whole contract, his first 4 years of his career. There is no telling what can happen. I mean, you're talking about guaranteed millions in the NFL, where guaranteed is everything. To give that leverage up is nuts. And I don't care how squeaky clean anybody is. Like, there's no way I would sign that.
Frustrated for the young kid as well. Hopefully they can figure it out. But this is probably bigger than just him and his agent. I'm sure the PA probably has reached out to his agent as well. Like, absolutely not. Don't accept that. So hopefully they get this figured out sooner than later. He's already missed so much valuable time, especially with a guy that you know is going to have to make a huge jump production-wise on the next level if he's going to live up to his draft slot. So hopefully it works out. But watching that clip, it kind of completely changes my view of him in this situation. Not that I had a fully negative one, but just hearing him talk and answer those questions definitely has me 1,000% on his side.
I knew, I got a lot of friends from that area who are Bengals fans, and so I knew the situation, but I thought it would get solved or whatever. This is weeks ago. I think Florio was talking about it. At least I would say a month ago, this all was coming out. So the fact that now we're getting through rookie minicamp, we're getting through OTAs, now we're getting closer to training camp, closer to all this, and it's nothing. Hendrickson, nothing. Like, what is going on up there in Cincinnati?
I was a punter, 7th-round draft pick, so I shouldn't have an opinion about anybody really publicly whenever it comes to playing the sport of football, especially if you make it to the NFL. But in my mind, when I heard about this, I was thinking to myself, rook-ass rook, shut up. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. Like, this contract is not the one you're getting rich off of anyways. Mm-hmm. Like, the next one is the one you want. We need to be trying to get everything we can get done to get to the next contract. That's where you get rich. Like, the first one, obviously great, but we want to get to the next one. And as a rookie, you are no longer the guy, like, you're in a room full of the guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a whole new thing. So my natural reaction was like, this dude thinks the NFL revolves around him. He has no idea how this goes. Then I listen to him talk, and I'm like, hold the phone. I love this guy. Yeah. I would like this guy on my team, actually. Why won't the Bengals get it done? I feel like I'm very happy we listened to that. And also, Shemar, hey, staying on business over here, buddy.
Well, too, I mean, it's not really his, it should not be his responsibility, but he does kind of now have to think, like, if I sign this, every first-round pick after me is going to have to sign this. Like, the precedent from the player side, I know the Bengals are trying to set a precedent, but the precedent from the player side all of a sudden is like, man. And then let's just say he does sign it, right? If you're a draft pick, the last place you want to go is Cincinnati, if you know that that's going to happen. If Shemar Stewart signs it and that's the precedent there and you know that's how they're going to operate and you're the 10th overall pick, you're probably thinking, man, do not send me to Cincinnati because I do not want to be part of this organization. And oof.
You stand on your business. I wouldn't want to be a guinea pig for a new clause either.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think. Now, how many other teams do this? Like that's the next question. Are the Bengals the only team doing this?
He's protecting the next couple first-round picks because if Bengals slip this into his contract, they can show next year's first-round pick.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is kind of what we do, and they can kind of pressure their agent and whoever the next pick would be. So I do wonder if any other teams are trying to put this clause in.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea about the other teams or if this is I haven't heard it is, but why would you sign this if you were a draft pick? I can't imagine this is just how it works for any team. Because this seems like, it really seems like kind of an insane clause.
And they're the only one. I'm assuming if it's something shitty, then the Bengals are the only team doing it. The little tidbit Florio released too, that kind of completely pivoted the entire thing for me, even before hearing that, just because once you realize, the Bengals are just trying to screw over their first overall or 17th overall pick, their first rounder, there's no point in agreeing with the Bengals.
I mean, the Bengals are obviously trying to take all of the leverage and all of the risk and flip it away from them. That's what they're doing. They're saying, you know what? We want all the balls in our court, but you to have all of the risk and us to be able to walk away basically whenever we want over the entirety of your first contract.
In any situation, is there a precedent of like him,
Mister
of a Mr. President, yeah, President, whatever. Is there a situation where a first rounder has just never
Bosa, right? The Bosas. I think something happened with the Bosas.
But I mean, like never. So theirs was money in Bosa signed like
Bo
Monday
Jackson?
of week 1, like where you just never sign your first.
Wasn't he drafted to a team in the Raiders, maybe? And he just didn't go. He went to.
I think it was like the.
Yeah, I mean, this might be one of those things where I really don't know what has to happen, but I don't know if Stewart can just not sign and then go play in like the UFL for a year and then become a free agent. Like, I'm not sure how that works, but I don't know. I really don't know what happens. I mean, I know like Hendrickson can sit out his season and all that stuff, but I don't know what happens if you get drafted and you just like how you reset all that.
The Bucks or something, and he told them before they drafted him, like, "Hey, if you draft me, I'm not gonna."
Joey,
and he want to play baseball.
Yeah,
Joey missed all the preseason games. His contract didn't get done until
Bosa?
right.
Both of them. I think both
so did
Bosas.
but I think that's when it's money. That's one thing because it wasn't their whole dispute was on guarantees of money. Yeah,
This one is a clause on future voids.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the money. Like they are cool with the total. They're cool with the money. They're good. They just want the verbiage changed.
They were both top 3 picks. This is the 17th.
Hey, shout out to the young agent reading through that thing and finding.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Clause.
He had to send it. I would assume he sent it to multiple other agencies. Friends, hey, is this isn't normal, right? Like we can't be signing this.
You got to remember, those lawyers too. They'll sneak a clause in there, deep, 30 pages, 40 pages in, 20 pages in.
Oh yeah.
You know, they do that so other lawyers are forced to be hired to read through these things. Whereas, blah, 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 where.
And I mean, too, like what a sneaky thing from the organization to just be like, yeah, let's just railroad this guy, see if they catch it, see how it goes over.
Blah, 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 blah. We're 4 pages in, and whereas has only said one fucking thing. But who wants to sit here and do all this? Oh, other lawyers do. So you need to hire another lawyer to deal with the other lawyer. So then lawyers always have what? Work.
Billable hours.
And this agent, and the lawyers that read through it, if it's not him, if the lawyers for the agent read through it, whatever, found it and were like, nope, that's a good deal. Good for them.
Yeah.
I'm happy they did that.
Tough, man. But, it takes a lot. Like, when you talk about winning and you talk about building a culture and you talk about why some teams are always competitive and some teams just never are, like, this is why. Like, these are the reasons why you can have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and you're 9-8 every year. Like this is how this stuff happens. So I feel for Bengals fans, man. I'd be pissed if I was a Bengals fan. This would just be so dumb. Like if I'm watching this, I'm thinking like this is the dumbest thing in the world. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, super crazy stuff going on leading up to the season here up there in Cincinnati. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.